Good morning, traders. Welcome to the daily webinar, and this will be out on YouTube for the weekly outlook. So to my YouTube viewers, hope you enjoy it. Remember, this is just our views as of today. I'm not sure all these views will be sustainable by the end of the week because we use wave analysis and structure patterns. That could change even within the day. So if you would like to have the live sessions, which is what we're doing right now. But if you would like to have access to the live sessions for the London Open and the New York Open, you can send me a message on Skype. My Skype is Mangal, M-A-N-G-A-L. Let me just type that for you very quick. It's in the description in case you miss it, but it's M-A-N-G-A-L 457. The method we use is called wave analysis, something I created. You may want to take a look at it if you're watching this video for the first time, you're seeing any of my video, please go to YouTube, watch some more of it, and you'll have an understanding of how the method works, right? Not a clear vision of how to use it, but how it works. If you would like to join our group, send me a Skype message. I'll give you details on how you can do that as well. So that said, let's go. We're going to start by recording the majors. We're going to record some of the cryptos and some of the indices for you guys. We do this 5 times a day live, which means that whatever we do now, within the next couple hours, we could be changing. So because we trade in the 1 hour and the 15 minutes, it means that patterns could change within that period of time. And a buy now might be a sell in 4 hours time. So if you're going to use my analysis to make any trade, be very cautious in how you do it, right? You also have to know what strategy you're going to use and what money management you're going to use, including trade management. So with that said, let's go. Dollar index is correcting. I think we literally had that from a while that we are going to expect it to correct. I explained last week, if you watch my last week video, that this correction could get all the way to the top or it could be pretty short. We don't know. And anyone who professes that they know what that correction would look like is probably fooling himself, not you, because you would see what it becomes. But if you understand wave analysis, the bigger pattern is what is in play right now. And this is still the bigger pattern. We still don't know what this is. This could be a channel that might be a big move to the upside. This could be just a running flat. This could be a contracting flat that already ended here, and we're just making a correction to go down. Eventually, the higher probability is that this is going to continue to go down because that's the bigger pattern. That's the weekly and daily pattern, right? That this is a correction in that. We could be wrong about that in one way. What if this is actually a contracting flat? And this is a 1, 2, 3. And we're literally going back to retest the top. What if? Is that possible? Of course. We can't exclude that, but we're not working on that assumption as yet. That assumption comes when we break out of this structure and we start to make corrections to go up. So there's no sense even discussing that right now, that possibility. It doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. The amount of variation that exists in this pattern is almost close to about 100,000 if you want. But what we do is we're trading the immediate trade for today. So the immediate trade for today is a correction. As of now, it's a correction to the upside. We did break the low, so we're assuming that that correction will be part of a future running flat because we're in a downtrend. That's the assumption. Every correction you get that could give you a buy would be a trade. You can see we're buying because we're correcting upwards. There's probably a buy setup here. I don't think any of my traders will take this one. That would not probably be a trade you would take because you have this sharp, you have this sharp, and you're going up with this. Chances are we're still going to pull back here, and we might still go there. Eventually, this might be the flat that forms for upside and not the one that we're looking at right now as a possible expanding flat. And we discussed this in our trading room, that this could be a smaller flat than here. This is the big drop. It all depends on whether it goes up sharp or it starts to consolidate. Well, I think we're consolidating. I'd go with the option that we're probably consolidating in here. And I wouldn't be surprised if they pull back and kind of go there and come back here, give us a flat here, and then that becomes a buy. If it is still the expanding flat, which I doubt it is now, if it's still the expanding flat, any flag above here would be a buy. You buy any flag in here, you're trading within this range. It doesn't mean you can't, it means you just have to be very cautious with that because you're trading within that range. And since we have this sharp on here, the possibility of this pulling back really sharp, making a flat here and then going back would confirm that we're going to have a flat in this range for upside. Now, can we sell this one? I think we can. We should be able to sell that, and we should be able to buy this. Can we sell this drop if it drops? I don't think we should. We would be able to sell that. You'll have to go probably in 5 minutes to do that if it drops. If this continues to go, you're probably not going to buy it until it breaks the stop and consolidate. Now, if that is a little difficult to understand, and to understand why that might not be possible trades or trades that could end up being losses for you, you need to learn wave analysis. Silver. Yep, silver dropped. I don't think that was a surprise to us because we know you have one, you have two, you're going to get three. There's no question. Now, the question is whether this is enough of the correction or whether we're going to go lower. I think we're going to get a buy setup here. I don't think this is the one that is going to drop. Remember, we were trying to trade 1, 2, 3. That should have dropped at least like this and probably then correct up. It didn't happen. They're going up. So this would be one of the two things. Either we get a bigger correction here like we had here, them crawling up back to the top like this, drop again, go back up, drop again. This is not new. You probably would see a lot of corrections looking like that, and then go up. Why still up? Well, because of the depth of this pullback. Every time you pull back to the top, I think we'll be expecting it to make another up. All we're doing is correcting this. So if you remember, and if you remember what we were talking about when we were here, is that they will correct this, and you should be looking for sell setups. Now, how deep they're going to correct this? Well, let's see. So far, we got 1, we got 2, we got 3. I don't think it's over. We don't have divergence as well. So if this drop here now, you've got to be careful, because this drop doesn't necessarily mean far. It means breaking this low, create an internal divergence, go back up there, come back here, and then go. So there's a good chance if you're looking for the equivalent of that, you've got to look for this. Right? It's got to be a deeper correction. So this drop might be a sellable one. You just have to be really careful in managing it if it's going to drop. There's a chance it's going to go back up, and it could be a buy. Right? It could be a buy. Like I said, if it's going to drop more, you can take it from here. This would be a good place, but you got to really be careful in how you're going to manage that. So the sell is still valid. We will eventually move that sell up as it goes up. Can we buy it? I think we can buy it. They're going to make a deep correction like that. The buy is worth it. So let's see. We have to see whether it's going to be a buy or a sell. Right now, it's a sell as it stands. You can put your sell setup here and see if it drops through that bottom. If it drops through the bottom, once it breaks this low, your job is to start managing it for break even should it not go further. If it goes further, great, that's the trade. If it doesn't, then you got to manage it. Is there a possibility that this actually go and return, retrace all of this and get lower? Yeah, I wouldn't exclude it. This is a deep pullback though. It's a pretty deep pullback, and this up move is a pretty sharp move. So if they are to drop lower, if this is to drop lower, let's just assume that it did drop lower, make another correction drop. We'd have to decide whether we're going to be looking at this as a bigger flat. And I think that wouldn't give you a really good flat unless it becomes a much bigger one coming back to the top and then coming here. And that is leading you into a very, very, very different place. So for simplicity, if this drop, assume it's not going to go, because this is a really sharp move. So I don't think we're going to, this is not the correction by itself, especially in relationship to 1, 2, 3. So there's a good chance this is a correction to go up one more. And that happens sometimes. It gets deep, then take off. So we'll see. The sell is a high risk sell as it stands right now. It would have been a better sell if it had dropped from here without making another correction there. Without making this deeper correction at the top there, it would have been a better one. But right now, it could be a buy. And we could probably get it inside here if we get a flag in there for the upside. You don't have to wait for the breakout. So let's see which one comes. Gold is the same thing. We've got this flat pattern here. We've got a really deep pullback here. It dropped, pull back really deep, really sharp compared to most of the move. And we're correcting in the middle here. Why in the middle? Because it's in the middle of this one. If we're coming to break the top, we're correcting in the middle, and that is okay. You always get some kind of a correction. This was a deep one, and then you get a correction in the middle here. And in this move, you would have seen how many corrections. So this correction as it stands right now is normal, absolutely normal for our upside. We're still correcting this. So we have 1, 2, 3. Again, I don't think it's over because this is not going up very aggressive. I think we could probably see this consolidate more, drop again, and then take off. As of now, this is a consolidation because we were way back at the top there. That would change if this actually drops through the bottom and come pretty deep into this one. If this drop here, if this is the drop and come deep into this one, well, then we will probably go back up, but only this time we'll be dropping. And the whole structure will change. Remember, this is an absolute top as of now. On some charts, we have this as an absolute top. I think only one chart doesn't have it as breaking the top. So this could be the first move to the downside. Or it could be part of a bigger expanding flat that we're looking at. And we wouldn't know that until this piece tells us, is it a correction for downside or is it just a small correction here for upside? Either way, you're going to get a big move to the upside or you're going to get a very, very big move to the downside. So go back to the 1 hour and you can still trade these moves, and that's what we're trading. You don't even have to wait for those big moves. So right now, you could probably go with a buy. On the 15 minutes, it's a buy setup if you want to take it, which means if you think this is going to give you one more impulse up, break this top, that could be a buy here. If you want to sell it, you got to be careful with these smaller sells because they might be over. Right, you kind of get a few series of them. You had this one. You got if this becomes one again and you take it, it might not go very far. They're not going very far. Now, what are the chances of it dropping through the bottom and go? Normally, you would have to put an entry here, but that's pretty far. So I would say what we can do here is wait for a 1 hour consolidation. Since all the 15 minutes are over, if it makes a 1 hour consolidation here, that could confirm more downside that might bring it back to this level. Probably even breakthrough. So unless we have a 1 hour consolidation, these 15 minutes when they're over, right? Because this is a point from where they can go back up, make a new high, then come. So if I'm going to be looking for a sell setup here, I want to see a 1 hour flag. If I'm going to be looking for a buy setup, well, I can put an entry there in case it goes really fast. An up move and a flag would be a good idea. Breaking the trend line is irrelevant. That trend is just for me. That line is just for me. And I think my traders figure out what I'm trying to say as well. Right? That line has no relevance to it. This line also has no relevance. It's all about whether they're breaking out and what happens after. So let's see. This is a very small one. Now, if you can take that and get a stop here and it's okay with you, which means you can manage a small drop and a pullback, that is also okay. But you have to have really good skill levels. And I think a lot of my traders do have it. Euro. Okay, so let's go to Euro. Euro was a sharp pullback. No surprise there. We're correcting it, which means it's starting to look like a reversal or a much deeper correction. Could it also be a big flat? I think that's possible. It all depends on where this goes. The deeper this comes, the better it is for a flat, and that means more downside. I think Euro has more downside. I pretty much think we have more downside in the Euro. If it stays here, and it break out, well, we can buy that. So as of now, if you ask me what's the trade setup, the trade setup is a buy. Can we sell it with it? I don't think you should. You can, of course, but I don't think it's going down really sharp still, though. Yeah, you should be in the sell already if you wanted to sell it. If you wanted to sell it for a 1, 2, 3, let's say a 1, a 2, and a 3, should already be in that sell, which would give you the possibility for break even should it go back up. Here is your buy entry. So right now, the only thing we have valid for if it's going to continue to go up is a buy entry here. If it's going down, then it's going to come all the way to the bottom here, most likely. Go back up, then drop. Because we only have 2 pieces. We are looking for a flat. A flat for a seller flag, you already have a flag for a buy. If that flag changes to become a flat, then we'll change that to a sell. So within the next 5, 6, 7 hours, it could still be a short buy. But the buy would be from the bottom here going. If this thing keeps coming down like this could still be a buy for this trade if we can get it. But then the bigger picture would be a sell. Is there a big move to the downside? I think we all agree that it could. And we could come back all the way to the bottom here and then go. This would give us a big running flat. Right now, it's a running flat if you take this. But we did make a correction here. We'll come back pretty deep and really sharp. So if you're coming back sharp and deep, you're either reversal or running flat. For now, it's a running flat. Once we exclude the running flat, it becomes a reversal. So first, we have to make sure that it's not a, it's not a running flat for upside. Otherwise, if you think it's a reversal, you can get yourself in trouble really quickly. But you have one, you have two, you have three. If they want to reverse, it's going to be this. Break out of the structure, consolidate, we go down. As of now, we would not make that assumption. Let that happen first. So for now, we are just pulling back here to go up. I think it's more upside. Remember, we broke the low here and the bigger picture and the weekly and daily. So weekly and monthly. So there's a good chance we're just making a big running flat to go up. Let's see. I don't think it's going to go from here though. I think we're going to come lower. So this might become a small flat, a relatively small flat, not small flat in here and then drop. Trade carefully. Pong. Same thing here with the daily structure, possible running flat here also. I think we kind of agreed on that a while back. So this could come back because there was nothing to match this one, right? They were small ones, but they didn't really match this. None of them, right? We got this deep correction, really big correction. I think there's no question that that's a huge correction. You got to move up, you got to move up. We got this here, but we never got something the equivalent of this. And then they went up and made another one and went up and, well, I'm not sure if this is another one or we just keep going. Right, then we might not get this. We'll have to use one of these as a running flat, deciding which one. Definitely not this, because this is the correction inside. So if we get this, that would be perfect for the buy, for the bigger long-term buy. That'd be a perfect setup. So coming down, yeah, it's coming down good. The first move was pretty aggressive. The pullback wasn't that deep. It didn't got about 50%. This drop was good. We broke the low. I don't think we have divergence in the 1 hour. Well, slight divergence for now. That could change pretty quick. Yeah, we do have divergence, but that could change pretty quick if this keeps dropping as a single impulse, which means this will be out. So come back here. Consolidation for buy. As of now, it is a consolidation for buy. We'll see whether it becomes a flat for sell. Because you drop, you pull back, you're dropping, kind of making a flag here, which means this should go up, come back. If it stays in this range, it would be a buy, even just for one more and then downside, but this would be a buy. So unless this really crawls down all the way to the bottom here, that means you probably wouldn't get a sell. I wouldn't sell inside this. It doesn't make sense. Even the range is pretty good. Yeah, the range is 122. Okay. But this sharp pullback will be a really, this one here will really stop me from going into sell. Let's see what this piece does. If this piece come back to the top and then drop, it means we wouldn't get any sell. We'll probably go up. But if they drop lower like this slowly and then pull back, it's going to be a running flat. So you're going to be one more down. Go for the buy. Wait for this trade up. It will be easier than the trade inside here. And a little North Rec. We don't know what it's going to be, so it's going to be a little North Rec. Wait for it to go. It's got to be a buy, whether we get a buy from the bottom or whether we get a buy from here. If you're going to put a buy entry now, it only has to be above the top. That's the only option. There's no other option for it now. That is if you think it's going to take off like a rocket to the upside. We do have divergence. If not, just wait for it to come down and then we'll look for a small flag to buy the next impulse up. Aussie. We were looking for a buy, so let's see where we are in the 1 hour. It could drop one more. It needs to break this low. So when we were at the top, we pretty much knew it was going to come back here. So maybe one more drop. There's still that possibility. I'm not expecting a contracting flat, but if we do get the buy for a contracting flat, we'll take the trade. And then don't miss this trade to the upside. If you miss the downside, don't miss the upside. Because these two were here while this was starting to go up. When we figure out that, well, it's going to come back then no matter what happened. So you're here now. Is it ready for the buy? Let's see. This one actually pulled back pretty deep. Right, that pulled back pretty deep. So if you're going to buy at the top, you'd have to be careful. They can tag you and drop. So I'll take up that as a buy. If you guys are buying, you probably bought it in the trading room. This buy here would have been a good one, that little flag. I wouldn't buy the top now because this did come back deep and there's a possibility for one more. Let's buy a flag above the top. So if I'm going to buy this, there's a big move to the upside. It's much bigger than the down move as well. So I want them to break this top. and then make another flag. That will confirm the upside totally. Because you don't want to get tagged here and then watch it drop, break this low, and then go back up. You'll be out of the trade by then. So can we sell it if it's going to drop? Yep, that would be a sell. We'll get that trade. Break the low, then upside. So I think this is just going to break the low and then go back up. How deep they go into this one, well, we'll see. But I don't think we're going to get much deeper because this is not a correction. If this was a standalone correction, then this would be 1, 2, 3, and we could come and break this low. But since that is not a correction, there's a good chance that this could come here, but it will have to go back up and then come here if we're going to do that. And if you're repeating this on a bigger range here, we will have to complete the flat. So we'll have to come here and go back up. So the upside is almost 99% coming. New Zealand. Okay, so this the two options you have here, and I have both options. It's going to drop here or it's going to go back up. So make a new high. I think we broke the divergence. We had divergence at some point, but I think that is out. Yeah, that's out. So there is no divergence. It doesn't necessarily have to go back up. It's moving up sharp. Let's see what it looks like. This was if it's going to drop. That is if this was going to make a sudden drop. Actually, it come here and it's making a flat, a running flat. I think we should get a running flat there. That could be a buy setup. If it makes a running flat, go for the buy. I don't see why an entry should be above the top. We don't have any correction, right? There is no correction. It actually just did this and did this. So if it pulls back, perfect. We'll get a running flat, and that will definitely be a buy setup. Because a running flat means you're going to go one more impulse up, and the sharpness of that means we might be going back all the way to the top before it comes down. So let's see. See, this one actually moved really fast. The flat is here, but this one seems a very small one like this. So if you get a pull back, an entry order would be a good one. Let's see if it pulls back for the entry order. Pull back buy. Yen. Look for the sell now. That was the buy on Friday to come and break the stop because we know they're going to break the top. How high it's going to go, well, we'll have to wait and see. Right? It could go much higher. But on the big picture, we came all the way to the bottom. So that means there's a good chance we might not break the top. We could still break the top, but there's a very good chance we might not break it because of the depth of this. So if you're in the buy, you don't have to close the trade. You just stay with it. If not, wait for another. Any consolidation above here. Any consolidation above here would be a buy setup to break the top. The running flat is still in play. Right? We took it off because of the depth of this pullback, but it could still be in play. So when it breaks the stop, any reversal, we're selling for downside. Any flag correction, we're buying. It broke the top already, so you just have to wait for your trade. Right now, you just need to wait to see whether it's going to reverse. We'll absolutely sell. Or if it starts to consolidate, and I mean, you want the 1 hour consolidation. You don't want those 15 minutes flag because that'll get you in trouble. You want this thing to stop here and literally consolidate above here before we go. Any reversal with a 15-minute flag would be a sell. So let's see which one comes. Swiss. Okay, we broke the low. We could possibly go with the expanding flat, which means a buy is. Well, there was a buy setup already. I probably would have gone with this one. So, and it's a small flag. It's not a really huge flag for like this one for possible running flat. So I think this would have been a good trade. If anybody took that trade, we just have to manage it when it comes to the top because there's a good chance they're going to break the top. This looks like a perfect expanding flat or running flat. Depends if you break the low or not. It looks perfect. So this could go up. That means you're looking for a buy setup, not from here, but it should be from here. If you're going to take another buy setup from here, you want it to make a big correction or a flag or something and then buy, which means any flag above the top would be buys. This is showing the break of the low. That's all. So this one can go back pretty high, right? All the way back to the top. We looked at that, or just correct to this level and drop one more to break this low. They don't necessarily have to break that low, but they could break it. So we'll see if they break it. CAD, flat, eventually downside. I don't think this will be the start of the upside. There's a big impulse to the upside coming, but not this way. It's hardly it's gonna. We expect this to come and break the top. We broke the top already, so now we should expect a downside here. Right? We already broke the top. Take this off. wait for a flag, an impulse and a flag to the downside, and that would be a sell. That will complete this one. So we'll probably be here for a while. It'll complete this, we'll have to go back up and then come down. And then the big move probably will start to the upside. Because there's no way I will look at this and think, well, you know, this is the one starting with an incomplete flat at the bottom here. But do we have a sell setup coming? No, just wait for this to finish what it's doing. We'll make an impulse, make a flag, and we'll sell it. This will most likely be a sell, which means yen might drop, Swiss might drop. Okay, sorry, we were not going to do this, but since I'm on it already, you have a buy setup. We're already buying this, right? We're buying this from here, and then this is the setup to buy. This could go all the way back, break this top, if they turn from that point. Right, we were expecting it to come and break this low, but it's actually going up really sharp from here. So let's see if it makes another high. It could go make another high. This could just be a correction here. Go make another high and then come back down. We're still in the correction, right? And this one is going up really sharp. You've got a perfect flat at the top there. I think that's a good buy. Take this out. I'll take this out also. So if this flat stays the way, that's a perfect buy setup. Even if it just gives you one impulse like that and then come back down, that would be a good one. So you look for a buy setup there. Okay, let's go to some of the, we can look at the US oil. The sell here would be a break even because you would have probably seen this already forming, a big flat. If you were thinking of buying it, the buy would have been here, put an entry there. So at least one more up, at least one more impulse up here. Right, and then you've got to be careful from that point because we're kind of channeling here. I think we could agree that we're in a channel. A channel like these break to the downside. Channel like these tend to break to the downside, and we're kind of expecting a down move. We haven't got this, by the way, so there's a good chance we have to watch. I don't think this is a standalone correction, but there's a big move to the downside. So I'll first want to exclude this. When it drops, you want to first, keep forgetting this arrow. Yeah, when this drop, you want to first exclude this possibility. It will drop. So you first want to exclude this one and then all the way to the bottom. Because it could still be a running flat. This is going to drop. It's already giving us a sign. There's a buy there. The buy, as you can already see, probably will only get you to that top. One spike and then down, one spike and down, because this flat is over. You got move, you got this. You see this correction, one spike. This will probably give a spike there and come back. It could break out a little. Nothing is wrong with that. The line is just for us. It might not even get to the line, just break this top. So if you're taking that one, you got to be really, really cautious that you are in that flat now and that possibly could behave like that. So let's see. Come back here. S&P 500. Okay, this pulled back pretty deep, so forget about the sell. You will get a sell, but it's going to be just for an impulse to the downside and then a flat for upside. We will get a sell, but it's going to be more like this. That'll be flat. This looks more, this right now looks a little more upside too. Well, depends. If you put this one, you get a flag here, sell it for this trade. Right, that could be a running flat in the middle there. So if you get a little flag here that proves sell for the break of this low and then upside. If you're lucky, they drop a lot, but this is a deep pullback, so I don't think we'll be that lucky. So you get that one there and then upside. And the one over it's just going to be a flat, a bigger flat for upside. So short-term sell, long-term upside. US 30. The depth of this pullback will pretty much mean the same thing. That's a deep pullback. This might even break the top again. So if you're going to sell, take off that sell. This was when it was a small flag. Now that it's at the top so high, there's probably even, especially if they go back up one more, break this top. Right, we probably would look at this as a running flat in here. And this would be like a 1, 2, 3. This would be a 1, 2, 3. And then it could drop here, but then it's going to be upside. We're going to get this flat. Well, let's see. Wait for that. NASDAQ. Yep, this one didn't drop too, so we're still in this consolidation, by the way. Only now it's at the top of it, or the top of the impulse. This is the impulse, right? So we're at the very top of it. It came and made a higher one. So even if it goes down, and it likely will go, I'm not looking for contracting flat as yet, which means I'm not taking this to be a contracting flat. But if they consolidate here a lot, we might consider it. Consider this one and that as a contracting flat. If they actually drop, and if you get a flag here, you can sell it to retest the low and then upside. They're all giving us upside side now as a bigger flat forming there. So contracting flat or not, since they all have at least one more down, there's a good chance this will still go down one more. But then we'll be stuck with this. So it will have to come here, go back up, and then come. Right? If it is going to go up and you have this sharp one, this would have to come here, go back up like this, then come down for this one, and only then the upside is possible. But if it is a contracting flat, then the upside is possible right now. Right, the upside it will go right now if you take it as a contracting flat. So you can literally put an entry here for the possibility that this is a contracting flat and this one will take off. If it makes a flag here, then you sell it to come back to the low. Once it comes to the low, you have to get out because we're going to be stuck in here for a while. Nifty. Yeah, bigger correction. So this could come back here. It probably will go down. This will not be the drop. This can be all the correction. So it'll probably be a flat in here. It's going to correct downwards for a while. DAX. Take this off. That was a top. That was breaking this top. And then come down. It's not coming down as yet. You're making another flat there. Or maybe this is the one. So if it makes this, you get a trade here and then up. It's a running flat. So there might be one trade here and then upside. So this could be a good trade. If you want, this one could be a trade too. Because this could be the top that is coming down. But you need this before you start buying. If you buy above this top here, it might not go very far. So let me just get this. Right, about here, and then the upside continue. So there could be a short trade if you get a consolidation there. Tesla. Well, if it consolidates here, it's a sell setup for at least one more drop. Right, it's already consolidated. One more drop to the. Well, this is not really the bigger trend. Let me see. I think we have a bigger trend line. Yeah, one more drop here, and then it could still go up. But it's a sell setup right now. Can it go down from here, from this point? Yeah, why not? It'll just be a bigger consolidation. We'll be stuck in here for a very long time if they go down. But if it just comes here and go up, that'd be normal. That'd be within the up move. So one sell, and then we'll see where that takes you. Bitcoin. It dropped, but it didn't break the low. Instead, we're making a bigger flat here. Right, this one is going to go back one more. You end up with some kind of a 1, 2, 3 kind of pattern here, but it's pretty flat, so they'll still drop. Right, if you make such flat pattern, it's rare that they're going to pulling back to the low that it's going to go up. So the question is, are we going down from here? Making all these flat patterns and dropping is a good sign that you're probably going to go down slowly all the way to the bottom here. Very slow, but very sure. See, it's a slow move. It's not going to be fast. They kind of drop, make a flag, make a bigger one, then they drop and make a bigger one, even drop and make a bigger one, keep dropping with very slow moves. You might get a big consolidation somewhere here and keep going down. And this would be all for the running flat, which is normal. We anticipate a running flat and then downside. Right, so it could go a little more because this impulse were a little sharper than this one, but they don't necessarily have to be equal. As it stands right now, that'd be a perfect running flat. So could it be that Bitcoin is going to retest this low before they go back up, which means retest the 14,000 area before they go back up? That's possible. You got to watch these pieces as you're going down now. right? So as of now, it's still too early to tell because that it's not a deepest consolidation and we're still in the upside. If you pull a trend line connecting these two, you're pretty much still in the uptrend. Are pretty much still in the uptrend. So they can still come here and then take off again. They can even come a little lower and take off. We're still in this impulse. But because of where it is, you want to be a little cautious. Would we go for a running flat if it does something like this? And let's suppose you do something like this. Would it possibly be a running flat here for one more up? Same. So if you're selling here, that possibility exists, right? A big running flat and then one more up. Because you do have this here. It's not wholly inside of this, but this one is not fitting anywhere. So that might be the question why a running flat is possible. So let's see, we're still in the uptrend right now, but it's dropping. Ethereum, pretty much the same thing. We do think this could go break the top one more. This is going up really, really slow. And there's a huge consolidation in here. Like it dropped, went back, and it's coming down here. And this is looking really weird. Right? It's not classical in a flat that you would look for a 1, 2, 3. It's actually doing this. And there is a flat forming here that possibly could take off. If you look at it like this, you pull it like this. I'll leave this. This one actually went up really slow, but instead of dropping, it's making a flat here at the top. So this sell will be off. And there's a possibility that if you take this off, put it there. There's a possibility that there's a flat forming here. And a flat like that normally is a buy setup if it stays there. Right? If that stays as a flat, then you can put an entry over here to buy. And see if it goes. If it comes lower, if this is to drop lower and break this lower, then you take it off. But as of now, as a matter of fact, if it comes lower than this, you can already take it off. It has to go now or it comes back and break the low. Breaking the low is not a good sell. Bad idea. As it stands, is a bad idea. Can we take this to be the top and this is coming down and so on? We'll have to figure out whether this can go with something in the past, and I don't see any possibility for that. So would this all be one big consolidation? Could it be ended here at this point? And this is actually trying to go up. That would be okay. It's a little strange, but it'd still be okay with 1, 2, 3, and this goes up. Break the top, and then from there we'll see if it comes down. From that point, we'll look for downside. Or total upside, but I think it's possible downside still. XRP. It's coming down slowly, not as fast as we would like it to come down and then go back up, but it's coming down. It's on the downside. We definitely need to break this low, but it's coming really, really slow. So probably leave it, wait, see if that consolidation gets bigger. It's definitely not going up now. ADA. This one is kind of going sideways too, but all of these sideways are definitely looking downside. If you take this out, let me take this one out. You can take this out too. They're pretty much useless because you already made a 1, 2, 3, and this is a big consolidation happening here. So the question is, how would this drop? Is it going to drop from here? Or are we going to go back up? If this dropped from here, we might still get this one. So if we drop here, we might still get a sharp pullback, make a running flat, and break the low. We're likely going to break that low. Because this is not trying to show us any sign of upside. It's showing you more of a 1, 2, 3 wave structure for downside. Coming back to the low and then going back up. They'll definitely go back up. When they come back, we test the low. And then we'll see what it does. There's a very rare chance that this comes here, go back up there, make a flat there, and still go back up. It's possible, but that would be a deep pullback into this. So we'll see when that happens. Right? Is there a chance that this go back higher into the top there and then do this and do that? Kind of like this one, right? 1, 2, 3, then come down like this and then go. Yeah, that is possible. If it does that, then we'll definitely be going up. So a lot depends on how this consolidation goes. It goes downwards or it goes upwards. And then we'll decide on the upside. It has to come back more to this top before it becomes an upside. And so far, it's not looking that way. The only way it starts looking that way is if this starts going up higher. This goes higher, then we'll have to pull back for this. We'll definitely go back for this one, and we'll definitely come down for this one. In that case, yes, that'd be perfect. So do we have a buy setup here? Nope, I don't see a buy setup as yet. So we'll have to wait for that. Okay, I'm gonna do two more and then we're gonna, let's see. I think we have the general, this one looks downside. Also kind of crawling up, but general picture is downside. And this one, this looks upside. This is the only one that looks upside right now. This looks like a flat that could take off and it might even break the top. This is the only one that structurally looks like it can go and break this top, because that is a flag and this is an impulse. So if you take all of this out, you put that as a running flat there, this could be a 1, 2, 3, and this one could totally go up. Could it be a bigger flat for downside? It's possible, but it could also totally go up. So keep your eyes on that. Let's say BNB, what is doing? Yeah, it's going to drop. This one is going to drop more. This is a flat pattern. So even if it consolidates here a lot, it's still going to drop. Break this low and then start the upside. So two more. Let's go through them then quick. This one, touch. Yeah, that one is upside. There's a buy setup forming here, but it's a slow crawl to the top. If you take this out, we're going up, but we're going up really slow. At this point, they might be picking up that speed, so it could be total upside too. I think this one came from the low. We were expecting that upside. We're just only expecting it to go much faster because this one came from this low. Okay, I see which one we're looking for. We're looking for this impulse. So it's probably going to continue to go. At some point, you're going to get a pullback in it, right? You're looking for that 1, 2, 3. So this is going up, probably somewhere in the middle here, you're going to get a pullback, and then you're going to finish that move before you go down back. So we're going to end up with something like this. And a flat there. So you can buy this. This has a buy setup. That's a good buy. And it has a buy setup, just going very slow. And link, the last one. It looks upside. This piece is starting to look like they can make one more up. But once it gets that one more up, you got to be careful. You're in this structure, and it doesn't look like they're trying to break out of the structure. They can. This could be the low, and we're breaking out of the structure, but we have to break out to confirm that. If they break out, and if and when they break out, we'll put it like this. We will put it like this for the correction, and this would be the low, and that would be upside. And I think that's possible. Breaking this low, because you notice they were going up, they weren't breaking the low as such. Right? They were going upwards, and then they broke the low. So that could be a sign that you're making something like this, a deeper one, or we could even be going up to retest the top. So if you get buy setups there, will be worth taking. And I think we're getting a buy setup here. Kind of this one is making a buy setup here, like this, probably come back like this and go, or just take off without coming back. This could be a correction of its own too. Like this one. See, this one is inside of this one, but it never came back. It just took off. I think we have a few of those where we have like a small flat inside of this one, but it just took off. So this small flat inside of this could take off. Go for the buy. If it goes lower, it wouldn't bother you. Right? If you have a buy entry and it goes lower, I don't think anything will go wrong with that. So, okay, guys, I think I'm going to stop the weekly outlook there. YouTube traders, hope you enjoy it. And remember, these analysis could change pretty quick. If you understand wave analysis, you will see the changes.